Good evening, everyone. Hi, this is Sister Yaffa Bay, and today is Thursday, March the 31st of 2011. And I just need to say a couple of things before we get started. One, I have not been able to go back and hear any of the shows that I've done, at least for the last 2 to 3 weeks, because my sound card is out, so I have no idea what I said. But I do know that something kept coming to me that was making me wonder, did I tell the individuals that it was Ethiopia that meant an Egyptian that had been converted to Christianity, or did I say Coptic? Because I want to make sure that everyone is clear. You know, sometimes I mean to say one thing and I say something else. What I meant to say was the Coptic Ethiopians. If they're Coptic, that basically means that they are nothing more than an Egyptian that has been converted to Christianity. That's what the original Coptic church and the Coptic situation was about. That's one. Two, someone asked me a question last week about which other country of the remaining 5 was supposed to be in line to be attacked because they don't want to accept the foreign Rothschild bank, and I couldn't recall which country it was. The 5 were Libya, which has already been attacked, Cuba, Iran, North Korea, and the Sudan. One more thing. Someone had asked me a question about exactly where in the Bible does it say that pale complexion people are supposed to be grafted back. Hopefully you guys can hear me, because again, I don't know. But where exactly in the Bible does it say that pale complexion people are supposed to be getting grafted in to melanin-rich people? And I told the individual it doesn't say that, though it doesn't use those words. And since I didn't have a Bible, I didn't know, and that I was going to probably have to go out and purchase a Bible from a 99-cent store. I kind of wish I had done that. But what I did is I had to inconvenience 3 separate people, 2 of them at my house in Southern California, to run around and look for this particular Bible for me, and someone else that had the next day air it to me so I could have it in time to even do this show. That cost over $30-something just to get this thing mailed to me next day air. But I did get my Bible, and the reason I wanted this particular one is because everything is all highlighted in here, and I really didn't want to get into the whole go back and re-research everything. But that information that I was talking about as far as getting grafted back in, that is in Romans chapter 11. You know, a lot of people like to read the whole thing to not take it out of context and stuff like that, but it really starts getting really deep, starting from like Romans chapter 11, verse 16 down through, I don't know, verse 25, 26, about how the people were supposed to be getting grafted back into the real vine. And I will get into that a little deeper. And it seems to me that there's something else that I was going to touch on for the listeners. But before I do that, let me say this also. Anyone that is just tuning in to this show, and tonight is the first time you have ever heard me speak, it would not be a bad idea for you to log off of the show and go and log into YouTube and watch what YouTube has out there on me that is entitled, erroneously entitled, Piercing the Fog. And then watch the YouTube that is entitled How to Survive the Fall of Rome, and then go back to the January 27th of 2011 show, and listen from January 27th to February 3rd to February 10th, February 17th, February 24th, March the 3rd, March the 10th, March the 17th, and March the 24th. I would highly recommend that an individual go back and get caught up before you listen to this show. And the reason I'm saying that is because people are misinformed or misconstruing what it is that I'm attempting to share with you. When I tell you that I'm going to start showing you spirituality, And it gets back to me that people are in the chat room saying, oh, good, when she teaches us how to become invisible, I'm going to go rob a bank. Or, oh, I didn't know Yaffa knew metaphysics. I didn't know she knew magic. That's not what I'm talking about. I don't know metaphysics or magic. I don't know that much. I only know a little something about a couple of words based on my research of words. However, let me clarify for you what it is I'm attempting to say to you, because otherwise I'm going to spook you out, because I found out that the show before last, which last show was the question and answer show, the show before last, a lot of people became spooked out when I switched from history and politics into spirituality. Now, the reason I have to give you spirituality is because we're in the process of restoring, revivifying, revitalizing, reactivating America and the American empire for restitution. In order to do that, I have to revivify and reactivate and help restore real Americans, who are the copper-colored races of people, and that's more than one race. And by race, I mean so-called children of a particular set of parents. Now, in order to reactivate America, I have to help revivify Americans who erroneously believe that they are Africans imported to America. And the reason for that is because America is a spiritual empire. It always was, it always has been, and it's being taken right down the road to hell. So when I say I want to reactivate and get you guys into your spirituality, this is what I mean. The planet that you are standing on is spinning and spiraling. Spiritual is the base root of spire, which has to do with spinning and coming to a point. So if you're going to spire or spiral, which really means to breathe, then you have to know what spiritual is. The planet you're on is spinning and spiraling. When you let water down a drain, it spirals and spins. When you flush a toilet, the water goes down in a vortex of spiraling and spinning. Your so-called nappy hair that has this curl to it is a spiral. The DNA or CTA strands in your body are a spiral that spins. Your kundalini that is asleep, when it starts to coming up, it coils in a spiral that is spinning. The melanocytes on your skin cells or on your skin that make you dark complexioned, those are spiraling, spinning vortexes. They are a bunch of eyes. A lot of people have to focus all of their energy only on the psychic eye, which people call the third eye or the fourth eye or whichever one of those 7 eyes we're talking about. However, this is all about spiraling and spinning. Everyone and everything is the same thing and yet not the same thing, because we're all atoms and molecules, which are basically protons, neutrons, and electrons, and photons in space, which is basically quarks, photons, and space. So if you understand that all of this is a spiraling, spinning situation, like the ocean spiral and spin, the air you breathe and move and have your being in is spiraling and spinning. So when I say I want to get you back into spirituality, I am trying to get you back on your spin. And a wheel spins. If you comprehend that when you watch a spinning wheel, the very center or focal point of the wheel looks like it is not moving, but it is the thing that is driving the rest of the wheel. It is the thing that is spinning everything else. So what I want you to do when I say I want to get you back into spirituality is I am attempting to get you back to a point where you become the center or focal point or hub or nabi of your own individual will, and that will make you an unmoved mover. An unmoved mover looks like they're not being moved, but the unmoved mover is moving everything. Now, one of the things that you're going to, and I hope I remembered to cover all the previous stuff that I was supposed to cover before I get to this point. I just wanted to get that out there because I don't want everyone misunderstanding or misinterpreting or miscalculating what it is that I am attempting to say to you. I don't need people running from the show going, oh, my gosh, she's trying to teach us witchcraft, magic, and voodoo. I don't know witchcraft, magic, or voodoo. I just know about the spiraling, spinning energies of time and space and everything going on. That's what I can share with you, and that's what I can help you with. Now, based on my research, I have found 3 things in the world, well, let me say 4 things, that are multi-dimensional, okay? A lotus plant is physically multi-dimensional in as much as it has its roots in the soil. The stem or stalk of the plant comes up through the water, and the petals of the flower sit on top of the water. Now, when it comes to being multi-dimensional in a spiritual sense, being in multiple times in space, I have found roses, cats, and melanin-rich people that are erroneously called black, which I don't like to use that, but these are the individuals that I have found based on all of my research that are currently multidimensional. Now, there are a couple of things that I need to bring out again because, I know I've gone over this stuff, but that's why I go over things